The Lakers win against the Grizzlies in a very exciting and thriller type of game. It was really fast paced, great rebounding, great effort on the defensive side, and it was just really fun to watch. But the Lakers still game one away, and here are my thoughts. To start off, both teams played really good towards the first half. They were really getting at it. I would say the Grizzlies dominated the first half a little bit more. The the Lakers started with going through AD, and they were really strong with it. AD was getting on the boards. He was fighting through defenders. He was taking shots that you would say during the regular season he would be scared to take, and he wasn't hesitant, which is why in the first quarter the Lakers did pretty well, and then it started to get bad in the second quarter. The Lakers had 8 turnovers in just the second quarter, which forced the Grizzlies to make a comeback, to make a push. And LeBron, compared to LeBron, I understand he's old, he's 38, but compared to LeBron and how he's played in the playoffs, he was very lackluster. He was doing a lot of extra things and settling. Now, I don't expect LeBron to drop 40. I get that. And I don't expect him to be in the post all the time. But when you have a smaller defender on you, I understand it can be tiring to go in the post all the time, but you can't be settling for shots. And LeBron in the second quarter was a little bit of a big reasons why the Lakers had some turnovers. He was just making a lot of lazy passes, trying to do a lot of fancy type of passes, which was really uncalled for. But he overall did have a pretty good game, and he came up clutch with some blocks. I'm pretty sure he had 3 blocks. The Grizzlies were really learning how to capitalize on the Lakers' mismatches and the Lakers' mistakes. They were getting in transition fast, and as soon as they got to stop, they were going at it, and they were fighting through contact. The one thing about the Grizzlies that I could critique is that even though they have a lot of high flyers on that team, they tend to just try to play and push through contact, and that could work against certain teams, but when you have a rim protector like AD, that might not work as well. And when you have somebody like LeBron who's trailing, that might not work. So I would say the Grizzlies need to pass it out a little bit more. But they were pretty good in the second quarter. The Grizzlies didn't really dominate, but you can watch the game. They had the flow. They had the momentum in the first half. But things started to change in the second half when AD came back from his injury. I thought he really dislocated his shoulder or something. But reports said it was a stinger, and he came back, and I think they iced him. They did something, but he came back, and he played really well in the second half. AD had a total of about 7 blocks. He was just at it defensively. If you watched the game, you would notice that AD was on Jaren Jackson Jr. majority of the time, and Jaren Jackson could not get anything on AD. AD was playing great defense, and he was just getting at it. He was taking a bunch of good shots, and that's what you'd like to see with AD. Obviously, he's kind of made of glass, but he was getting at it, and that's all you could expect out of AD. Now, the Lakers could have blew this game because of Darvin Ham. I've said it in my previous videos that I do think the Lakers will win this series, but if they do lose this series, it's not because of the players, it's because of the coaching staff. When AD wasn't on Jaren Jackson Jr., he put Rui on Jaren Jackson, and Rui has been better defensively as of late, but I would not put somebody undersized on Jaren Jackson Jr. just because of the fact that he can shoot over him, and Jaren Jackson Jr. can just outmuscle Rui. As much as we haven't seen somebody like Mo Bamba or maybe even Tristan Thompson, I would put somebody other than Rui on Jaren Jackson Jr., somebody with more length. Wenyen Gabriel is not that good, but you want somebody that can really pass and really get in Jaren Jackson Jr.'s face. And Rui, defensively on Jaren Jackson Jr. wasn't amazing. But speaking of Rui, dude was amazing. 5 threes. He was being a little bit more confident in himself. He was taking shots. If you seen on social media, there was a video about 48 hours ago before they played Memphis, the Lakers. Phil Handy was talking to Rui, and I'm pretty sure you could see him, and he was coaching Rui, telling him to have more arc on his shot. And he did, and he was knocking a lot of shots down in practice. And in this game, you really saw it. Rui played really well. He had some good rebounds, too. He was hustling. He just knows where to be at the right moment, and that's all you could ask for from Rui. And, him and Austin Reeves, they were the 2 MVPs of this game. They played great. Now, I never thought I would see LeBron even in as late of his career right now, he would be a spot-up shooter in clutch moments in the game, man. In LeBron's post-game interview, he said it himself that he trusts Reeves, and the very first practice he saw with him, he knew that he was going to be there to stay. So they trust Reeves out there a lot. Dude is very good at getting to the free throw line, and he can hit timely buckets. Same with Rui. They're literally Mr. Consistent. They can go out there and they'll do what they do. They can get you, both can get you 10 to 20 points a night with good rebound and good hustle defense. And, Reeves, he played really well. You saw that video on social media saying, I'm him, and he's been playing like he is. I think they might looking to sign him for about 12 to 15 million, which, if you ask me, is kind of a steal. And in my eyes, that's not really recency bias. That's him really showing what he can do. But those were my two main MVPs, Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. Anthony Davis played really well. LeBron has to be better with turnovers. In terms of the Grizzlies side of things, obviously Ja Morant got injured, and that's kind of annoying. And, you just pray for Ja Morant, because an injury like that, going down when you're that high, you're going to really hurt your wrist. He might not be there for Game 2, and that could really decide the series for the Lakers. So, yeah, hopefully Ja Morant can come back really healthy. And I would say the Grizzlies have a lot of things to work on, but they're not out of this series. Jaren Jackson Jr., I can see, can really carry a team. Taylor Jenkins, there's a reason why he's a Coach of the Year candidate, because even when his star players are out, they can win games. So the Grizzlies aren't out of this. They have a lot of young, gritty players. Luke Kennard, definitely, he's not going to miss wide open threes like he did this game. Dillon Brooks, to be honest, I don't even know if Dillon Brooks is going to do that good. He'll drop 18 one game and then 5 for one game. So he's a little bit too inconsistent. Hopefully the Grizzlies will be back healthy. Overall, it was a really fun game to watch. The Lakers played really well. They had some wide open shots that they hit. They were capitalizing on the Grizzlies' mistakes in the second half. And the Grizzlies were doing the same thing to the Lakers in the first half. But losing Ja Morant and the rotations, which I do feel like the Lakers could be better at, which is really killing the Grizzlies. So, in terms of what I think the Lakers need to do better, coaching staff, I think the players played fine. Obviously, LeBron can't be having turnovers as he is. D'Lo needs to step it up. In terms of the entire game, he played better late in the game. But if somebody like Malik Beasley is not playing good, you got to put Lonnie Walker out there. You can't have Rui on Jaren Jackson Jr. all the time, because he's going to get eaten alive. And it's the same thing with AD, because AD, he's going to hold his own against Jaren, but Jaren is really going to put his arm into AD's chest. So you got to really experiment with different lineups, because a team will expose the Lakers if they keep playing with this type of rotation. So, great game from both sides. It was really fun to watch. Great excitement. The atmosphere of Memphis is great. And we'll see what happens in Game 2.